Hey, it's Mrs. Golding, back with number 34 on page 557. We've already discovered the answer because we worked this problem out in a different way, but this was my work. This was me trying to solve this problem, and I'm totally embracing my errors because we learn from our mistakes probably more than we do from the things that we get right. Did you figure out what I did wrong? I totally found it after I looked for a second. So I was getting lost in all these numbers, and I said, okay, let's divide by a common factor. And I'm down here, right? So I said 135 and 15. I know they're both divisible by 5. So I took 15 and I divided it by 5 and I got 3. And then I took 135 right up here and I was dividing it by 5 to figure out what I was. Look what I got up here. 27. And what did I write down here? 23. Okay. You know what? There's a code on our report cards. I think it says, maybe there's not. Maybe I could be making this up. Actually, there's something about making errors. I don't know, silly errors. It's not silly. This is a silly error, right? And I made a silly error. And come on, silly error. I need a pen. 27. This is a 7. So we're left with 27 times 1. This is a 7. What's 27? That's really looking. What's 27 divided by 3? That's where we're going to get that 9. So we just been basically all we did was we're proving that we can get the same answer in more than one way. 7 divided by 3 is 9. So my answer, my equation equals 9. Not far. M equals 9 right here. Okay. But if you thought math, the important thing is problem-solving strategy. First of all, I've said it a million times. There's one way to do something. Almost anything in this world, right? I feel like I didn't make any errors in this method that I was using right here. And I feel like this second way that I was trying to do this, this is definitely a viable method, and it's how the textbook generally encourages you to work in the standard algorithm. I made a mistake. I just made a computational error. I was actually just writing it incorrectly. So think about when you're doing math, the most efficient way to do things. Sometimes think about what's more fun. What's a more fun way for you to do it? And maybe you're just bored doing something the same way. So you're like, oh, I'm going to try it this way. I think that's great. But also think about which way is going to cause the least amount of error. And when I'm getting numbers like 135 and I'm 33 times 4, I'm getting these big numbers. That's when I kind of back off and I'm like, hey, maybe this way isn't the best. So, okay, we made that problem probably more complicated than necessary, but hopefully we learned something in the process. All right. Hope you have